Okay, guys, Adam Trigger here. It's Thursday. It's time for On the Clock. I've ditched the clock completely. I'm going to put 15 minutes on the clock and try to get you out of here with a few free picks. This is a free pick show right now. It's baseball focused during college basketball. We rattle off some college basketball games. The clock works a little bit better during college basketball season. But for today, I'm going to talk Tigers Rockies doubleheader. I'm going to talk Dodgers Diamondbacks at an interesting price, and then we'll get to a little Friday morning KBO on what could be a pretty rain-filled slate in Korea. So I'll probably give away the way I'm looking for a potential client play because I think there's a good chance that game could get rained out. So let's start with, I guess, what you would call like one of the feature games on Thursday. Dodgers Diamondbacks, certainly an intriguing series, but I'm a little bit surprised this price is where it is. So right now, you can actually get the Dodgers at like minus 150. That's down 10 cents or so from this morning. I think that's kind of a bargain. I was surprised that line moved the way that it did. Reason I think the Dodgers make sense here. I'm not overly. I don't love what I've seen from Brandon Pfaadt so far this season, and I know he kind of battled his way through a couple of starts that ended up being okay on paper. He had a stretch where he pitched against the Orioles, the Braves, the Rays, and the Marlins, and he put up pretty good numbers. But when I pull up his Baseball Savant page and I look at some of the underlying metrics, the 20th percentile pitching run value is a big time concern. And I started to sort of dig into that a little bit more. The problem with Pfaadt so far this year, when he's struggled, is he's really not having much success with his breaking stuff. So fastball's pretty good, and he definitely has the makeup, the mental makeup of a quality starting pitcher in the big leagues. I think we saw that in 2023, his rookie season, when he was able to kind of like pitch in big games for the Diamondbacks as a rookie. But right now, what's happening to him is he's just not like his breaking stuff is all out over the middle of the plate. It's getting hit hard. He's getting hit, he's giving up a lot of hard contact. And to his credit, he's been good enough to sort of like work around it against teams, that just don't have high powered offenses. The Rays goes one inning or goes 6 innings, gives up 1 run. The Blue Jays game, he was fortunate because he kind of got knocked around, gave up 9 hits, only gave up 2 earned runs. Miami can be, they're a young team. They're a little bit hit or miss offensively. 1 run over 5 2/3. The Orioles, just a total mess the first month of the season. 6 shutout innings against the Orioles. Last time out for Pfaadt, ran into a real offense, a real team in the Phillies. Gives up 7 runs, 9 hits, 4 2/3. He's up against a very real Dodgers offense here today. That's just going to punish mistakes. And then the other part of the equation, the concern right now with Arizona is how banged up this bullpen is. And yes, they've got guys that have stepped up. Shelby Miller's been really good, kind of closing out games, and they're getting contributions from maybe sources they didn't expect. But I don't know how long they can go long term. Having a even remotely respectable bullpen, knowing that Puck is going to be is still out and he's going to miss more time. Justin Martinez out for a considerable amount of time, and I just think that bullpen is probably going to break down more often than not. So I'll actually give you 2 plays for this one. Two ways I would look. I think Dodgers money line is actually pretty cheap at minus 150. I also think the over makes some sense. And the reason I think the over makes sense is even though you're going to have to deal with Yamamoto, who's put up tremendous numbers, if the Dodgers get a lead here, like Arizona is going to have to start making business decisions in some of these games regarding their bullpen, which is kind of what we saw yesterday, where they might give up runs at the end of a game when they're behind because they only have a couple of guys that I think they trust in high leverage spots at this point. And so you might see similar to yesterday where it was a low scoring game and then almost hit the over at the end with Arizona, putting, I think it was Castillo and Beeks in. You might see some late runs in Diamondbacks games, especially when they're trailing. So I would give a look to the Dodgers, and I would look to give a look to the over in that Dodgers Diamondbacks game tonight, 9:40 p.m. All right. The closest I'll probably get to making a play today in Major League Baseball will be well, that's actually not true. I've got a couple of things I'm looking at, but the thing that's most intriguing to me as a potential spot would be this Tigers Rockies doubleheader. Brutal loss for me on the Rockies last night. Had Rockies plus 1.5. They led basically all game, or were at least tied, or were down. I think they were down 6-5 at one point. Go into extra innings, plus 1.5. It's 7-6 Tigers, 2 outs. Ball hit directly to the left fielder. He drops it. Allows the 8th run to score, the 2nd run in the inning, and then the Rockies hit into a double play. End up losing 8-6. The plus 1.5 loses. That was kind of a and then I had the Blue Jays too. So you want to talk about a huge, gut punch, if you will, after starting the day off 3-0 in minor league baseball. To lose those two is rough. Still got out with a winning day, back-to-back winning days. But I'm not scared. Doesn't mean I won't go back to this series today. With that being said, I think where I'm looking is potentially trying to find a way to play the Tigers in game 2. So obviously some stuff's going to have to happen here for that to be the case. I don't even know if we have a game 2 price yet, but the reason I'm interested in Tigers game 2, I do think it's going to be Keider Montero from the Tigers, who is not my favorite, but I could stomach in this situation because the Rockies are going to call up Tanner Gordon. I believe he's going to pitch the second game. Tanner Gordon is nowhere on my AAA power rankings for pitchers. He's way down the list in a handful of major league appearances over his career. He's got an 8.65 ERA, a 1.72 whip. Not particularly, he's kind of just like I feel like he's just an innings eater, organizational depth type guy at Albuquerque right now, because let's be honest, if the Rockies had any respectable pitching at Albuquerque, outside of Carson Palmquist, who's still a prospect and they're probably, trying not to rush along, it would be up at the big league level. So I could see Gordon getting absolutely bombed. What I'm hoping for now, the Rockies last night, Chase Dollander had to leave that game early. So the Rockies kind of did what I expected them to do and really sort of went all in on trying to win that game. Jake Bird went 3 innings. He threw close to 40 pitches. I don't think you're going to see him today. Even Halverson, 24 pitches. He'll probably have to go again. Agnos went 2 innings and 27 pitches. So you're probably going to see one of those guys today out of necessity. I think Bird has been the best reliever. I don't know that he's going to really, I don't know that they're going to have him go a day after throwing 40 pitches in 3 innings. We'll see. But what I'm hoping for, the game one of this doubleheader, I think the Rockies have a better chance to win. It's Kyle Freeland. He's capable, especially at Coors Field, of giving you a professional start, going 5-6 innings. I'm hoping that the Rockies are in position to win game 1 and maybe even win game 1. I'm not sure that I'll bet it. I'm not sure that I'll get involved with the Rockies, but I'm certainly going to root for them to win game 1. But more importantly, use up the rest of the good bullpen arms. The Rockies don't get many chances where they're in the lead. So, rest assured, if Freeland has a good outing and it's a tie game or it's close, the Rockies are going to go all in on trying to win that game 1, because game 2 is just going to be Tanner Gordon might give up a touchdown, right? I really think he could get totally bombed. And if the Rockies get their win in game 1, or even if they just use up their bullpen, you might see Gordon, and this might be a type of game where you see a position player pitching at some point down 10 runs. That's the kind of game 2 feels like. So I don't know that we'll get the price really to bet it, but basing off of what the game 1 price is right now, Tigers run lines minus 120 in game 1, and they've got Mize on the mound. Game 2, I don't know that Montero is going to get a ton of line respect. So we'll have to see how that goes. If there was somehow a way to just lay a -1 with the Tigers in game 2, if everything shakes out the way I hope it does, where the Rockies potentially win or play a close game in game 1, Tigers game 2 is going to make a lot of sense. That being said, because of that, I also think you have to kind of consider, I'm going to have to consider Rockies plus 1.5 again in game 1, because I do think that they may go all in with the rest of their good relievers after Freeland. I'm sure they're going to call a reliever up, maybe Jaden Hill as the 27th man. But that's what I've got my eye on in that doubleheader. So I think game one profile is a little bit better for the Rockies, but game two with Gordon on the mound for the Rockies is going to be a disaster. So that's what I'm kind of looking at in that doubleheader. It'd be Rockies plus 1.5 again in game one. And then game two, I'd have to give a look to the Tigers to potentially win that big. All right, KBO. We'll finish up with some KBO. We have a ton of rain in the forecast for Korea. The one game that will get played, Kiwoom Hanwha, I don't really have much of an opinion there, at least not until I see the line. So we don't have lines up as I'm doing this. So I'll focus on the game that probably will be a target for me, depending on how the books price this. That's going to be Kia SSG. What's very interesting to me here is these two teams come in with roughly the identical records. You have Kia 16-19, SSG 16-19-1. But for I don't have these teams anywhere close in my power ratings. And, so the Kia Tigers are your 2024 defending champions. They were very banged up to start the season. Since they've gotten most of their players back. The only guy they're really without right now is Sungbum Na, which is notable. But again, they've gotten a lot back, including 2024 KBO MVP Do Young Kim, who I truly believe is the best player in this league right now. Foreign, domestic, doesn't matter. In 11 games this season, he's back. 348 batting average. His OPS is over 1,000. I truly believe he's the best player. 21-year-old Korean kid. He will no doubt follow in Haesung Kim and Jung Ho Lee's footsteps, and in a couple of years be over here in Major League Baseball. You can count on it. He's that good. So having him back is just massive. And Kia, all these guys didn't miss considerable time, but Chan Ho Park missed some time. Sunbin Kim, starting second baseman, missed some time. Even Patrick Wisdom missed some time. So I look at Kia's 16-19 start. I think it's a couple of things. One, they don't have a ton of pitching depth, and they've had guys hurt. But I don't think either of those things are coming into play here. Well, first of all, they've got guys that are now healthy. Aside from Sungbum Na, everyone's healthy. And they had an off day yesterday. So I don't think pitching depth's going to be a real issue either. And the starting pitching that they have, the two import guys, James Nail and Adam Oller, have both been great. So in this scenario, you've got Adam Oller on the mound for Kia. You've got Drew Anderson on the mound for SSG. If you look at their numbers, very, very similar. And I think they kind of get treated similarly in the market. So this game is at SSG. Kia is on the road. You have two pitchers that I think most people would rate out relatively even. The books are definitely going to rate them out relatively even. I'm really curious to see what the price is on this game, because if Kia comes in and they're -110, -105, even money, +105 because SSG's at home and the books think these teams are even, I would have to play Kia in that setup. Now, I know Kia, SSG just got Choi Jung back. Certainly helps. Ryan McBroom, I don't know that he helps as much as maybe the books think he does. Of course, he's a quote-unquote import player, but he's a temporary replacement. He's only hitting 220. Yes, he has a couple home runs. Maybe gives the lineup a little bit more pop, but I don't think that does as much as maybe one might think it would. SSG right now, team batting average dead last in the league at 231. 3.66 runs per game, dead last in KBO. 21 homers, dead last in KBO. Now, Kia's got their issues out in the bullpen. Their back end of the rotation is not great. But here you've got Adam Oller coming off the off day. You've got their best bullpen guys. I have Kia still significantly better than SSG. I'd have to give Kia consideration. If this is anywhere near -110 for the Kia Tigers, I've got to give them a look. It might all be for naught. There is rain in the forecast, and we might get washed out, but I'll still have to probably punch that in. I've still got Kia power rated much higher than SSG, and I don't know how many chances you're going to get before Kia starts winning games and the books make their adjustment to start pricing them like the Kia team last year that won this league. That's it today. Right now, I have nothing up for sale. We do have great specials over at WagerTalk, so as always, check those out. The long-term packages are going to be the way to go. Keep an eye on my page for an MLB best bet. I may post that at some point. And also, I'll probably post a KBO one, but I may have just gave it to you right there with Kia. 3-0 in AAA baseball yesterday. If that's something you're interested in, that only goes out to my all access subscribers. So take a look at an all access package, because I will absolutely have some AAA today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow morning for Total Bases 9 a.m. Brian Leonard, Tokyo Brandon, myself, live on the WagerTalk YouTube channel to take all your Major League Baseball questions. And I hope everyone has a great day. Cash all your tickets. We'll see you guys soon.